In this video, we're going to use the Safe Multisig wallet to access the Unvest app. So the first step is we're going to go to the Safe dashboard at app.safe.global and make sure we've got our multisig wallet set up and loaded. We're then going to go to the Apps page, go to the My Custom Apps tab, and we're going to enter in app.unvest.io, and it should recognize a custom app, and we'll click Add. We'll then open the custom app, head to the Team section. You'll get this pop-up showing that the platform has automatically detected that you're using Safe. And so in order to connect, we're going to sign a message on behalf of the multisig and connect to the platform. So we'll propose a transaction that will need to be approved by all of the signatories, the signers of the multisig wallet. So we'll sign first. So I'll see this screen and I'll just need to coordinate with the other members of the group so that enough confirmations can be received to pass the threshold, at which point we can continue on. Okay, looks like that signature has come through and we are good to go. So now from the Safe UI, we're able to execute that transaction and then confirm it in our MetaMask. And then once again, we're going to wait for that to process. And that is one of the factors of using multisig. While it is definitely more secure, there is just a little bit more time and friction involved with confirming these transactions. So be prepared for that. Have that in mind. And it's not unusual for there to be a slight delay with Safe to index the confirmations as well. And also do remember that if you were to disconnect your multisig, you do have to repeat this step. Right, so we are authorized, and as you can see, we are now connected to the app. So let's create a new vesting round from the vesting section. So in this example, I'll copy the address of the PFI token and I'll paste that here into the contract address field. We'll show the balance that the multisig wallet holds of that token. I'll then name this vesting round, and I'll enter a symbol or abbreviated name for the round as well. And we want our vesting to last for 6 months or 180 days. So we'll just adjust our end date to reflect that, 180 days. And we're also going to change the ramp from linear to step, which means that instead of a gradual unlock over 6 months, there will be no unlock, and then 6 months later, 100% of the tokens will unlock all at once. And we'll click Next. So this is the Add Recipients page where we can add all of the addresses that will be receiving these locked tokens in this vesting round. But today we actually only want to lock tokens and have the multisig be the recipient. So we'll copy and paste the address of that multisig, and then we'll enter a balance of 350,000 PFI that we will be locking today. Then optionally, we can also add a name at the end of each line, which will give each recipient a useful name in the platform. Now this is private, only you can see it, but it can be a good way to keep track of things as the vesting progresses. So we'll continue through to the next step, and we're going to create the vesting token. The following step after that will be to send a batch transaction, which actually moves and locks those tokens. You'll get a pop-up here informing you about the wrap token fee. that only applies to people trading tokens while they are locked. That's not a fee that gets applied to ordinary transfers and claims when you're setting up vesting. And we're going to confirm that transaction in the Safe UI. And once again, because this is a multisig, we've proposed the transaction, and we now need to coordinate with the other signers, and they need to approve this transaction. So once those signatures have been collected, we will be able to execute the transaction from the transaction queue in the Safe UI. But again, keep in mind that this can be a process that takes some time to index. So be patient and expect some wait times. Now, because this can be a slow process, we've built in a helpful feature, which is that once this has been initialized, it gets saved in this activity dropdown. And that means that if something happens, for whatever reason, you need to close the window or exit the page, you can always come back and resume this process from that activity dropdown. Now, we'll just wait for that to confirm. Okay, fantastic. The transaction has deployed, and as we can see here, we have created the vesting contract. So our next step will be to lock and distribute that 350,000 PFI tokens. So we'll click on the send distribution and confirm using the Safe App UI. Now, if we take a closer look at what is contained in this transaction, we're going to be approving that vesting contract to move and lock those PFI tokens. And then, of course, we're going to actually complete the lock itself as part of the second action. So we will sign. And just like before, we are proposing a transaction, which then the other members of the multisig will approve, and then we can execute. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wait for that to index, wait for the other people to sign, and then we'll be able to execute. Okay, looks like we are ready to execute. So we will click submit from that tray at the bottom of the screen, and then confirm that execution in our MetaMask. And as mentioned earlier, if you need to hop off or leave the session for any reason, you can resume from that activity drop-down at this stage as well. So we'll just show you how that works. Here we are, re-entering the tool. We can see there, PFI 6 months, Safe App is processing, and we click that button, and that will reopen the page, and great timing, we can see that everything's gone well, the distribution is complete, and we can now view the allocation, the progress of the vesting from that Manage Vesting Rounds page.